Most of us know the story of the birth of Jesus Christ, and we have seen it in different forms. We have heard it enacted as a play. We have heard about it. We have sung about it. But have we ever reflected on the uncomfortability of the story of Jesus Christ to Mary herself? She was a first-time mother. She was heavily pregnant, traveling in the midst of chaos. There was no stability. There was no assurance that things would go well. Yet they were on the move. But have you ever thought about what was uncomfortable in it all, especially for Mary? Mary was a first-time mom. She was traveling heavily pregnant in the midst of chaos. There were no preparations, there were no stability, there were no assurances, yet she was on the move. Dr. Luke, in Luke chapter 2, did not soften the details for us at all. He gave us a vivid image of what happened at that time. The government had just made a decree. Everyone was to go back to their hometown to be counted. Of course, this did not exclude Mary and Joseph. And don't forget, they were first-time parents. They were on the move at a time when Mary was heavily pregnant. They had no stability, no plans, no assurances, no preparations, no hotel pre-booked, and yet they were on the move. Of course, the journey was not a short journey as well. It must have been tedious considering the state that Mary was, nearly close to giving birth. This is very important for us because it reminds us that obedience does not always look for favorable conditions. Everything does not always have to be perfect before we obey, before we take the leap and do what we have been asked to do. No access, no accommodation, no stability, no family support. What other things are those things that we need around the time we want to give birth, especially as a first-time parent? They had none of it, and they were on the move, walking by obedience. So you must understand that purpose does not always wait for things to be perfect before we set out. Welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, I welcome you. My name is Fumilola Adeleke. I help professional Christians to be able to maximize their faith despite the pressure of work or whatever environment. If you're a Christian and you're a professional, then stick around. Please don't forget to click the subscribe button so that you would always be the first to know when another video drops. If you were Mary or Joseph, how would you have responded to this situation? A closed system, no access, no accommodation, nothing planned, no support system. How would you have responded to it? The story of Mary and Joseph is teaching us something very vital here. When purpose calls, things don't always have to be perfect. There would always be limitations at every cadre of life, no matter whatever you find, wherever you find yourself. When those limitations occur, how do you respond? Let's look at how Mary responded despite all of the situations that was surrounding the birth of our Lord Jesus Christ. Mary did not arrive early in Bethlehem to be able to get a comfortable place, but we saw that what they eventually landed was a manger. Despite all of these situations, the scriptures did not record that there was any panic. It did not record maybe she was distraught or uncomfortable or even yelling at her husband. There was no such record. So it is safe to assume and believe that she was in a calm state despite the predicament. Were there predicaments? Of course, we have just outlined them. So definitely, if she had maintained herself, she made room for herself despite the fact that there was no preparations made in advance. So what can we see from the life of Mary? When there was no room, she made room. She wrapped her baby in swaddling clothes, what Yoruba people would call oja. She wrapped her baby in swaddling clothes. She made a cot out of hay. They were under the manger there, and yet she made a cot out of hay for her baby to be warm. She made room for herself with the little resources that she had in her environment. And what she did is what we call stewardship. Stewardship is not about always having enough. It's about making the most of every situation that you are being put into, making the most of your situation with the little resources that you have, stewarding whatever it is that has been dropped in your hands, whatever your possession, your skills, your capacity, your environment, making the most of it maximally, profitably, despite the limitations that may have been thrown at you. So if you are in a season where your resources feel as if they are insufficient, support systems are unavailable, you don't have anybody to rely on, nobody to support you, and it seems as if you are just trying to make shift or make do with whatever it is that you have, you are on track. God has not forgotten you. He didn't forget Mary. He can't forget you. Don't wait for conditions to miraculously improve before you launch out, before you take the next action, before you walk in obedience. You must understand that purpose does not always wait for a perfect system before it sets out. As a matter of fact, purpose precedes a perfect system. It is when you start to walk in obedience that you begin to enjoy the provisions that accompanied that move. So know that Mary did not control her environment. All she controlled was her response to her environment, her response to the situation that life had thrown to her. How are you responding to yours? How are you responding to the limitations that you have in your circle, in your environment, in your career, in your marriage, in whatever capacity you have found yourself, even in your workplace? How you respond is what will determine the success that you are going to experience and the victory that will come thereafter. Where is God asking you to make room right now in your life, where you will probably not be immediately celebrated, where the conditions are not all right? Think about it and begin to rework your response and move in obedience. Your faithfulness begins to count when you take action, even when the conditions are not all right. Have you been blessed? Don't forget to like, to share, and also to subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.